Sexual and gender-based violence continues to plague communities across Nigeria, especially in the southeast region, bringing about various forms and degrees of harm on the victims. It is to address this practice that WABMA put together a one-day town hall meeting for traditional rulers, community leaders, and faith-based organizations to brainstorm on the way out of the societal menace. Addressing the gathering, the Enugu State Commissioner for Children, Gender Affairs and Social Development, Ngozi Eni, said that time has come for everybody to speak out against the evil practice. She appealed to traditional rulers, community and religious leaders to rise up against the perpetrators and speak out so that the law would take its course, insisting that no one should be above the law.
The stigmatization, fear of being stigmatized when you speak up. So that was why I encourage our Igwes, our traditional rulers, our religious leaders of faith to try and encourage the victims to speak out and not trying to sweep their cases under the carpet, to make sure that the report gets to the right and the appropriate authority so that the law can take its focus on whomever the perpetrator is. And I also want to remind them that nobody is above the law. We have zero tolerance for any form of abuse, be it a child, be it on a child, be it on an adult, male or female alike. We don't tolerate, and we always promise our perpetrators that once they are being caught, they are going to go in for it. So I advise everyone, whether you are in Enugu State, you're in Imo State, wherever you are in the whole of Nigeria, to desist from carrying out any form of violence against anybody.
The WABMA project coordinator, Odo Diego Okenyodo, said that the project was informed by the rising cases of sexual and gender-based violence, which in most cases are being legitimized by leaders of faith and culture.
We feel that the religious leaders that are progressive should be called into a space so that they can aggregate their voices in this town hall meeting, agree that there are like-minded leaders of faith and culture, and speak as one. That's the idea of having the first ever town hall meeting, because people, even those who are working in the space, the leaders of faith and culture working in the space, do not know that some others are doing the kind of work that they are doing. But by bringing them together, they are networking, they are sharing ideas, and then the fact that a communique is coming out from here where they are going to speak in one voice also makes their voices louder as a beginning of this project.
Some participants bared their minds on the issue of gender-based violence and how it should be addressed.
There are no shelters. There are no correctional centers, juvenile correctional centers, for the children that are in conflict with the law in the whole of Southeast. I used to hear that there is one in Enugu, but I don't know how functional it is. And because of this, the police used to change the dates of these children in order to keep them at the correctional centers, where they go and stay with the hardened criminals. By the time they finish serving their jail terms, they become more hardened than the way they are before they went in there. And this has affected most of these magistrates, that whenever they are giving judgment to cases, sometimes they will say, take your child home. Those children that have committed murder, that have participated in robbery and kidnapping, they will ask them to go back with their parents because the police has no right to keep them due to their age, and the correctional center will not accept them. It is the duty of everybody here to advocate for that. But the next problem is that the religious, the traditional ruling council, the president generals and all that, when you want to organize these sensitization programs with them, they will give you 2 minutes or 3 minutes to talk, just like you are giving us now. And this is the core of the issue. This is the main reason for our gathering here, and we are asked to speak for 1 minute. What message are we passing on to those people, those congregations, when we get to their churches?
When we are talking about gender-based violence, it's not just about rape.
It's not just about beating people. Yes, government is fighting gender-based violence, but they are fighting rape and the rest. What about the fact, take Enugu State for instance, out of 17 local governments, no woman was found worthy to be a local government chairman. Is that not gender-based violence? And so these are some of the things we need to. Women are excluded from decision making, and that is not right until we know that the men have their role and the women have their role, and we balance it. We will continue to have gender-based violence.
The gathering brought together religious leaders, traditional rulers, community advocates, civil society organizations, and human rights activists who pledged to mobilize collective action against sexual and gender-based violence. In Enugu, Ugonna Owalo reporting for Signature TV.